Quarterbacks are easy. It's more like picking your own flavor, what you like. I like to talk about the all the other quarterbacks from outside and then work my way into the best because we all know who the top couple quarterbacks are. That's easy. The list gets hard when you don't draft a quarterback early or you're not one of the first 4 or 5 guys. Then where do you go? That's really all you need to hear about drafting quarterbacks. Everybody knows that the best quarterbacks in the league are Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson. We'll get into those guys. But if I had to do a top 10, it's hard. There's more moving pieces than ever. It's a transitional time in the NFL. More teams are going with new quarterbacks than ever before. Young quarterbacks, rookies, quarterback duels, guys changing teams, guys that are on their second team, guys that Darnold going down to Carolina, and guys that just hit their second team and had a resurgence in their career, like Tannehill. Like Ryan Tannehill you got to look at him now. Something clicked. It's a specific type of offense out in Tennessee, but he played tremendous last year. And if you would have told me that 3 years ago when he was on the Dolphins, I would have looked at you like you were crazy, that you're going to be talking about Ryan Tannehill in the top 10 for fantasy quarterbacks. He was on the waiver wire for entire seasons. Nobody even had him. But that's how quickly a person's whole scenario can change by scenery, coaching, teammates. It's pretty fascinating, to tell you the truth. So with my top 10, it's just I got the four horsemen. I got Mahomes at number one. I think he's the best quarterback all the way around. He's 25 years old. He's in his prime. He's got the arm talent. He's going to throw for 1,000,000 yards again. He had 4,700 yards last year, 38 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and it didn't seem like he had his best year ever because he actually had a better season than that, his MVP season. Guys, the best. Him, Aaron Rodgers, awesome. Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay, MVP last year, 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Just under, how many yards did Rodgers have? 4,300 yards. You're gonna get numbers from these guys. Mahomes, Brady, Tom Brady, the GOAT. Pencil him in. You can't touch the quarterback anymore. He's still got it. He's got weapons. He's gonna pepper that ball all over the field. You really can't go wrong with Tom Brady. And then there's my favorite guy to take, Lamar Jackson. And I think it's time that you have to start recognizing Lamar Jackson as a top 5 fantasy football quarterback, period. Because we could play the if game with anyone. What if anybody gets hurt? So the only thing that can stop Lamar Jackson is his health, availability. But Lamar Jackson is on his way up, and the guy he rushed for 1,000 yards again. He's a dual threat. He's throwing the ball well, and they say, oh, he only had 26 touchdown passes. Well, that's good for 15th in the league, about halfway. 26 touchdown passes, not bad. But what nobody talks about is that he had single-digit interceptions. He wasn't a guy who threw 26 touchdowns and threw 24 picks. He threw 26 and 9. And he threw for almost 3,000 yards, whatever he threw for, and 1,000 plus running yards. And, that's big. That's a force. That's, and his durability looks pretty good. Michael Vick was a little slighter of build than Lamar Jackson. Michael Vick was something to see. I never thought I'd see anything quite like him again. And I have to compare Lamar to Vick. Lamar's a little bigger. And I think Vick was a little faster straight away. But Lamar has a little more juke maybe. And it's interesting to see because it's a 20-year gap. And what people don't understand is Michael Vick made all his runs when he would go back to pass and improvise and go. So Lamar Jackson, they actually have runs for him, RPO. Like Lamar Jackson is in the run game plans. Michael Vick freestyled 1,000 yards 20 years ago. Scrambling, it was something to see. So I can't say Lamar's a better runner than Michael Vick was, but I think he's more utilized than Michael Vick, and he's like the only thing that could stop him is his health. The day Lamar Jackson slows down is that first time he goes under the knife with something like that. Knock on wood. I really hope that never happens. I mean, Cam Newton I remember Cam Newton on 3rd and 3s, take the ball under center, sneak, run over 2 linebackers, head down, get up, one of them. Cam Newton was something to see, but when you go under that knife or you get a torn labrum or this or that, you're never the same. So until Lamar Jackson is not 100% healthy, you gotta put him in the top tier of quarterbacks, in my opinion. So you got Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers, Lamar. Those are the Mount Rushmore on my list. And then you got a couple of my favorites. Okay, so those are the 4. Number 5, I like Josh Allen. Josh Allen reminds me of a young Big Ben, with mobility, with the arm like Mahomes. Kid is really talented, and what I saw from him last year is enough. 4,500 plus yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That's really good. You only had 2 guys over 40 touchdowns. Rodgers 48 touchdowns, Russell Wilson 40. And Russell Wilson threw 13 picks, Rodgers threw 5, and Brady 38 and 12. From 3 all the way down to Lamar Jackson at 16 is only a 12 touchdown difference. 38 touchdowns for Brady, and then it trickles all the way down to 26. Same thing with 4,000 yards. 4,000 yards, you got 10 guys, then you got another 6 guys with 3,500. So it's basically who you like. Josh Allen for Buffalo is one of my personal favorites. Throws for big yards. They're going to be a good team. They're fun to watch. I'd rather have him than a stat filler on a shit team like a Matt Ryan. Excuse me. Matt Ryan is huge on fantasy lists, but Atlanta's probably not going to be a great team. 6-11, 7-10. He'll throw for his 4,000 yards, but is that what you want to root for? I don't like shitty teams like that. I'd rather draft a quarterback from a team that I think is going to be good. My jump the gun quarterback this year is Justin Herbert from the Chargers. I've never seen a kid come in so ready as Justin Herbert for the Chargers. He looked tremendous last year. He had 4,300 yards, a rookie. 30 touchdowns, I think he had 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Justin Herbert he came in ready. I told you these kids they're going out to Penn State 7-on-7 camps at 12 years old. They're reading defenses completely by the time they get into high school. I told you the first time I ever went to back to pass in high school on a varsity rep, I came back on a play action pass. It looked like the mall at Christmas time before Amazon. It was fucking packed, and I couldn't see shit. These guys are ready earlier. Every year now, I'm noticing a rookie or a young quarterback come on right away. No more Peyton Manning, 3-13, growing pains. There's a lot of guys that come on. So we saw that with Herbert. And right now, my front runner for that, a sleeper, just keep an eye on him, Justin Fields. He looked real good, dual threat, fast, strong, could throw, could run. I saw him in 2 bad games last year in college. I happened to be watching the Indiana game where he was holding on to the ball too long, got hits. So I was down on him. And then my old man called me yesterday and he was talking about him so much. He loved him. And I was looking at the tape yesterday, and kid looks ready. And I heard he was on fire in camp. So Justin Fields might be that rookie that takes off. And he could be putting up Lamar Jackson numbers this year if he's ready right away. Don't be surprised. So that's a guy that might not even get drafted, and he could be a star right away because he's got it all. Sleeper. Same thing with another a monster stat guy. Led the league in passing yards and touchdowns, I think, 2 years ago, but then he had to go because Brady was coming. Jameis Winston. If Taysom Hill's not the quarterback for New Orleans, I like Jameis Winston moving forward in his career. I think he's grown. I think he spending a year with Drew Brees helped him. I saw the way he was like expressing himself about his time in New Orleans. And I feel like he's really matured and grown. And I think if a guy as talented as him gets a real shot with a team like New Orleans, and a mind like Sean Payton, Jameis Winston can be right back there in those guys that you're grabbing off a waiver wire because you need a quarterback during the year. He could easily be a top 10 guy again, just with a little fate. If he becomes a full time quarterback, probably expect big numbers. So Ryan, Russell Wilson. I don't like Russell Wilson as much because I saw him last year. I saw he was on pace to become the MVP the first 8 games, but I think he pressed last year. He was scrambling too much. He was all over the place, and he was holding on to the ball too much, and then he complained about his line. So Russell Wilson puts up big numbers, and they got great weapons, but he's not my favorite guy. So Russell Wilson, he's probably on a lot of people's top 10s list, but he's not in my personal favorite top 10. I like Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, Lamar, Allen, Herbert. That's 6. Tannehill I like a lot. That's 7. There's not room for a lot if you have to really do a top 10. I didn't even mention Baker Mayfield yet. Kyler Murray. We're not going to talk about Deshaun Watson. Kirk Cousins, stat filler, average, a little bit above average, got weapons. Do you want a Kirk Cousins? You could easily grab a Kirk Cousins in the 15th round and stow up your quarterback for the year. That's what I'm saying. It's not rocket science plugging your quarterback if you're not an expert in fantasy football. But I like to go for the good ones. Matt Stafford. He's been the quarterback for the Detroit Lions. That's like going to hell. He's finally on the Rams now with weapons and a mind. McVay, super weapons. Matt Stafford is expected to have a tremendous passing year this year. But I do remember him on Georgia with No Sean Moreno and A.J. Green. And I remember him with Megatron. And I never see the guy really win. I don't know what's going to change. I saw Goff take the team to a Super Bowl. You could say, well, he didn't really, but he was the guy that was the quarterback that year. And I saw Goff come in a playoff game last year with a broken hand and tough it out and grit the team to a win. And he got a Ugats. So I'm a little sour on the Rams because the sports are ugly that way. I look at it from the lens sometimes of the athlete's perspective. I feel bad for Goff. He's going to Detroit. Wow, he goes to a Super Bowl, plays her, wins, and he gets rewarded with getting traded to Detroit. But yeah, big fat Ben Roethlisberger. If you watch my receivers video, I told you why not to take any Pittsburgh wide receivers. So that's why I'm going to tell you I'm going to stay away from Roethlisberger. He's not eating avocado ice cream. He looks like a cheeseburger waiting to happen. He's 40. And I was right what I said yesterday about the receivers. I was saying, all I do is remember Juju catching and falling. Ben Roethlisberger broke the record last year ever. He had 6.7 yards per completion. The whole season, that was his average yards per completion. That's only 2 yards more than a running back's carries average yards, a good one. Like that's terrible. So Ben is throwing those 4-yard screens all day. It's not downfield, at least it hasn't been, so I'm staying away from Pittsburgh and all that. Then you got outside guys. You got Kyler Murray for Arizona. Everybody's saying he's this great quarterback. Maybe, I don't know. When they rank the 4 wide receivers, they go, well, Tyreek Hill, Adams, Diggs, and Hopkins all have 4 really good quarterbacks. Pump the brakes on that. Rodgers, Mahomes, Allen, different tier than Murray. Murray, 1 tier below those 3. So I don't know there. You gotta be careful with that little guy out there in Arizona. I'm not totally sold on him. Baker Mayfield had a really good season. He's got moxie. He's got grit. He's not my guy for fantasy. I'm not touching Baker. Little fat Baker. He aggravates me sometimes. I like him. I root for him. I like his toughness, and he took a step up last year. So I hope he does well, but he's not going to be on my roster starting when I got guys like Mahomes and Rodgers and Brady and Herbert. I mean, there's too many fun guys that I like better. So Other than the usual suspects, who else? Matt Ryan, the statue for Atlanta. They're gonna stink, but he's gonna put up a lot of yards if that's what you like. Russell Wilson should be back. He's got the ultimate weapon, DK Metcalf. I don't have to go down the receivers lines because I already did all the receivers yesterday, so I'm not gonna do the other end of the connections with all the guys. This is just a quick video, quick synopsis of the quarterbacks and who to think of and who to look at. Stafford's up there this year. Other than that, there's not too many more. Dak is the big one I forgot. That division real quick. Dak was on his way to a super record-breaking season, possibly a 5,000-yard passing season. He got injured. He broke his ankle, so we won't know how that was going to go. Ezekiel Elliott got fat and a little lazy over the last couple of years. Hasn't been running the rock as good. He came back in shape this year. Supposedly Dak's healthy. So everybody's looking for Dak Prescott to have a big year. That's definitely a guy that you could take on your team and not be sorry about. I would never take him in my life. I'm a Giants fan. That's why I forgot to talk about him. And with the Giants, it's more of I like the quarterback, but he's not. I don't know about for fantasy yet because I don't know which way the Giants are going to go. I'm hoping for the best. I like what I see in Daniel Jones. I think he throws the ball well, and I think he's got really good speed, which is so underrated. I think that sometimes you can stereotype people, and if you look at Daniel Jones, he looks a certain type of way, and you wouldn't think he was a burner, but he's a burner, and he's a superior athlete out there. So he's a dual threat more than us Giants fans even realize. A lot of us don't even realize yet. If you're a Giants fan out there, we might have a real good one if he keeps developing the way he is. But for fantasy, I'm not touching him. I'm just going to root for him this year. I don't think he's there yet. Jets, rookie quarterback, same thing. I'm going to root for the kid, but I don't know. He's been I don't know anything about him as far as you got to show me in the NFL. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe or one of these unknowns going to a shit team. The only one I'm a little excited about is Fields because the Bears got a top receiver. They got a defense. Even Fields said that that it seems slower out there because his defense is so good. So, Miami. Look at the quarterbacks from Alabama a couple years ago. Look how fast they change on people. Just a few years ago, I remember watching Tua in the Alabama game, and the announcer saying, "This is one of the great ones, one of the greatest throwers of the football I've seen in 30 years, the best I've ever seen." This guy's off the charts. He got the hip injury. He came back. Last year, Miami was super conservative. He was like doing Roethlisberger throws, like little slants. It was like a high school offense 20 years ago. But they got to let Tua go. If Tua is really as good as every expert was saying a couple years ago, let's keep an eye on him. Cam Newton, I don't know what they're doing with him. I love Cam Newton. After he went under that knife, man. That's what I was talking about. Watch him in 2015. The MVP season was beautiful. I love Cam Newton. I'm rooting for him. I don't know. Taking him in fantasy is the way to go right now, especially coming off last year. It's just a guy to stay away from on the fantasy perspective. And other than that, the other side of Alabama, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, he's playing for Philly. It's not a guy I would touch in fantasy, but he could catch on. And he's strong. He could run in a different type of way, like actually churn out and get the tough yards and throw. And he's got a little bit of everything. It's just quarterbacks now are changing. They're versatile and they come in many shapes and sizes and styles. There's no one style of quarterback that works. You can see Lamar Jackson. You can see Tom Brady. You can see Rodgers, Mahomes. They're all a little different, and that's what makes it so cool. So that basically covers up most of the quarterbacks I would even speak about. You know how I feel about these guys. You got top of the food chain, Mahomes, Brady, Allen, Tannehill, Rodgers, Russell Wilson's going to be there. Herbert is my boy, my rookie favorite from last year. We got them all. Stafford for the Rams. I don't think anything's going to change for Stafford, but everybody thinks he's going to be this tremendous winner. I'm calling it right now for when the futures comes around. I don't think the Rams. I think under on the Rams this year. I think they're going to be a big disappointment. You heard that here first. But quarterbacks, just take whoever you like to watch on Sunday and have fun with it, because it's a flavor. It's like ice cream. There's so many of them that put up in the ballpark same numbers. It's not like if you really shit the bed at running backs or have terrible receivers that can't get a yard, like you're going to be able to find a quarterback. So hopefully we got that down pat a little bit, and we'll get more detailed on everything, like as far as who's going to be playing, who the receiving cores are for these guys. I don't want to get too detailed. I'll do a 40-minute show a week before the season on who's got what and how the drafts went and how guys are looking and updates and camps, and then we'll have better reads. But for now, that's pretty much where we're at with QBs, keeping it simple.